What dark secrets keep Hollywood's most luxurious mansions unsold for decades? From Michael Jackson's eerie Neverland Ranch to Michael Jordan's ghost home, these abandoned celebrity estates hide more than just dust and silence. Curious why no one wants them? No matter the fame or fortune, let's uncover the shocking truth. Nicolas Cage's Valyria Mansion. Some homes carry such dark histories that even the allure of celebrity cannot make them desirable. Nicolas Cage learned this the hard way when he acquired the infamous Valyria Mansion in New Orleans, a property with a ghastly legacy of torture and death, a place cursed by its past. Once owned by the notorious Madame Delphine Lalaurie, this mansion is now considered one of the most haunted locations in America. Cage, drawn by its bizarre mystique, added it to his collection of extravagant properties during his years of lavish spending. He purchased it in 2006 for $3.5 million and invested millions more into upgrades, including an Olympic-sized pool and a staircase salvaged from the historic Astor Hotel, transforming it into a terrifying masterpiece. Yet, financial difficulties eventually forced Cage to sell many of his assets, including this haunted estate. Despite its prime location in the French Quarter and historical significance, the mansion's gruesome past made it nearly impossible to sell. Supernatural rumors and local legends deterred potential buyers, leaving the property in an eerie limbo haunted by horror stories. By 2009, the property was foreclosed on by the bank due to his inability to maintain it, a steep price for curiosity and unstable finances. Birdman's New Orleans Mansion. Once a towering symbol of the Cash Money Records empire's ultimate success, rapper Birdman's three-story mansion in New Orleans' Eastover district is now nothing but a rotting shell of its past glory. Nestled within an upscale residential area and surrounded by meticulously manicured estates, this over 10,900 square feet house once flaunted peak wealth with its private recording studio, stone-paneled grand hall, and a splendid pool within its secluded grounds. But in 2005, just weeks after Birdman relocated to Miami, Hurricane Katrina struck. With its devastating winds and engulfing floods, the mansion suffered severe damage. Ceilings collapsed, floodwaters warped its structure, and mold crept into its expensive interiors. Although Birdman possessed enormous wealth, the exorbitant restoration costs, coupled with the area's geographic risks, forced him to abandon the property entirely, a bitter but unavoidable decision. Since then, the mansion has remained abandoned for over 17 years. Walls peel, floors are covered in decayed leaves, drone photos reveal a dilapidated roof, an algae-filled pool, and shattered glass eerily reflecting the New Orleans sunset. Urban explorers describe the place as a stone mausoleum of rap's golden age, where powerful sounds once reverberated. Now only the sighing wind breathes through broken windows. Though once valued at millions, the property's current worth is merely around $600,000, $650,000, mostly in land value. All attempts to sell or renovate have stalled due to the colossal restoration costs, natural risks, and complex legal records. Today, it stands as a decaying urban monument, a chilling reminder that even the pinnacle of fame cannot withstand the fury of nature and time. And before we dive in, let us know, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments below. Rihanna's Thornhill Estates. Tucked away on a Beverly Hills hillside, the mansion once owned by Rihanna is now merely a fading shadow of its former glory. Purchased in 2009 for nearly $9 million, this over 10,000 square feet home was once a private paradise, boasting 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, a stunning pool, and sweeping views of Los Angeles. However, just a year later, Rihanna sued the real estate company for failing to disclose severe structural damages, a cracked foundation, water penetration through walls, and a faulty drainage system. In frustration, she abandoned the villa entirely. Since then, the house has fallen into a prolonged state of disrepair. Images from drones and urban explorers reveal shattered glass, stained walls, overgrown weeds choking the pathways, and rotting interiors. Despite being listed multiple times for $7 million to $9 million, no buyer dared to step into a legacy filled with legal disputes, structural damage, and a disappointing past. Now Rihanna's mansion stands as a tragic symbol of Hollywood glamour suffocated by negligence and error, a haunted house no one visits, in the heart of Beverly Hills. Johnny Depp's France Village. Let's embark on a journey through these unbelievable tales with Johnny Depp and his seemingly fairy tale village in France, a 37-acre estate near Saint-Tropez, acquired in 2001. This village, with its own church, cozy bistro and over a dozen ancient buildings, should have been a dream paradise. Yet, unbelievably, it remains abandoned and unsellable, despite being listed for $55 million. Depp once poured over $10 million into its revival, transforming it into a self-contained world reflecting his artistic soul. However, after chaotic legal battles and a severely tarnished public image, interest in the estate completely dried up. It exudes an eerie atmosphere, like a time-frozen film set where beautiful dreams are now mere ruins. The interior was overly personalized, making it hard for others to envision themselves living in such a distinct space. The village's inherent isolation and Depp's controversial reputation collectively contributed to this staggering stagnation. It stands as a surreal, decaying monument, a testament to the eccentric lifestyle of a man who was once an icon, but now his mansion is overpriced and unwanted. Sean Diddy Combs' Casa Nurell. Sean Diddy Combs, a dazzling name in entertainment, also owns an equally infamous property, the Casa Nurell Mansion in Atlanta. Purchased in the early 2000s, this once luxurious estate has been abandoned for over 17 long years, becoming a haunting curse. Hidden deep in the woods, slowly consumed by wild nature, this 20,000 square feet mansion has transformed into a hotspot for squatters, where obscene graffiti and unrelenting vandalism are rampant. Neighbors have reported eerie, chilling sounds and dreadful intruders for years. Although initially built to showcase status, the house rapidly deteriorated after Diddy, for some unknown reason, lost all interest in it. Despite multiple listings, no buyer has emerged, as if an unseen wall separates them from its dark past and massive potential maintenance costs. The mansion is now a decaying spectacle with shattered windows, waterlogged interiors, and mold-ravaged rooms. Photos reveal severely damaged furnishings and once luxurious fixtures left to rust. All auction or sale attempts have resulted in dismal failure, perhaps due to the sky-high maintenance, extensive structural damage, and frightening rumors of criminal activities in the local area that send shivers down one's spine. Today, Casa Nurell is regarded as a haunting urban legend in Atlanta, a chilling symbol of faded wealth, abandoned dreams, and a real estate nightmare that no one, not even the bravest, wishes to inherit. Whitney Houston's Mendham Mansion. Nestled among ancient trees in Mendham, New Jersey, the villa Whitney Houston once called her final sanctuary is now merely a rotting shell filled with sad memories. Purchased in 1987 at the peak of her fame, this over 13,000 square feet home witnessed both moments of glory and downfall in the music legend's life. With 5 bedrooms, a private recording studio, and a separate pool, the mansion once symbolized Whitney's opulence and talent. But after her tragic death in 2012, the place quickly fell into disrepair. Unoccupied and unmaintained, the interior began to decay. Water-damaged walls, rotting carpets, and furniture left behind like painful relics. Though once listed for over $2 million, the house lingered on the market for years. No one wanted to be associated with a place once shrouded in the dark shadows of addiction and loneliness. It stands silently as a dilapidated monument to the past where an immortal voice once resonated. Now only the cold wind whispers through its silent hallways. Michael Jordan's Chicago Mansion. Located in Highland Park, a luxurious Chicago suburb, Michael Jordan's over 56,000 square feet mansion is nothing short of a palace for the greatest sports king of all time. With 9 bedrooms, 15 bathrooms, a tennis court, a private cigar room, a lavish wine cellar, and even an indoor basketball court bearing the iconic 23 inches jersey number, this was once a legend's private domain. However, when Michael Jordan decided to list it in 2012 with an asking price of $29 million, no one expected that. Over a decade later, the 23 Iron Gate still hasn't opened for a new owner. The reason isn't its size or location, but its extreme personalization. From design symbols to every interior detail, everything in the mansion bears Jordan's unique imprint. For the average buyer, envisioning themselves living in that space is like playing a guest role in a legendary museum. Despite steep price cuts multiple times, and even an auction in 2013 that received no bids, this property has been in a prolonged state of limbo for over 12 years. This is not just an expensive lesson in market risks, but also a cautionary tale about over-personalization when a luxurious mansion, instead of being coveted, becomes a relic, only for its creator. Neverland Ranch of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, once the most iconic celebrity property in the world, has now become a haunting ghost of its former glory. After the pop star's death in 2009, this 700-acre estate was neglected mercilessly. Once brimming with joyous fairground rides, exotic zoos, and opulent sprawling gardens, Neverland is now eerily silent, like a whisper of a shattered dream. Despite multiple name changes and drastic price cuts from $100 million down to just $22 million, it has remained unsellable for over a decade, a testament to the weight of its past. Buyers were deterred by colossal maintenance costs, its secluded location, and the heavy stigma associated with Jackson's controversial past. The estate's fantastical, overly personalized design further diminished its appeal to traditional luxury real estate buyers seeking elegance and flexibility, rather than an abandoned wonderland. It has lingered on the market for years with no interest, as if an invisible curse looms over it. Neverland has been abandoned throughout that time, with images showing overgrown pathways, shattered statues, and rotting infrastructure. A heartbreaking sight of a paradise lost. Did you ever imagine such a magnificent place could fall into such disrepair? Madonna's Beverly Hills. Madonna's Beverly Hills mansion was once the pinnacle of luxury. A vast estate with lush gardens, a resort-style pool, and opulent interiors befitting the Queen of Pop. Purchased at the peak of her career, the house was not just a private sanctuary but a vivid symbol of her global success, a statement in brick and crystal. However, when Madonna decided to sell this property, the selling process quickly revealed a harsher reality than imagined. Despite its celebrity provenance and prime location, the mansion faced significant hurdles in attracting genuine buyers. Part of the reason was that the Beverly Hills real estate market had become oversaturated with similar luxury estates, making even a property once owned by Madonna hard to stand out. But deeper still, the house's ornate, flashy 90s 2000s interior design began to seem outdated compared to the modern minimalist trends favored by today's ultra-rich. Crystal chandeliers, curved hallways, and regal golden hues no longer represented peak taste, but were seen as a relic of a bygone era, beautiful but not easy to live with. Coupled with high maintenance costs, investor hesitation grew. The mansion gradually fell into a state of limbo, no longer belonging to Madonna, yet finding no new owner, lying silent like a silent monument amidst glamorous Hollywood. After multiple price reductions and prolonged listings, the house was finally sold, but for significantly less than Madonna's initial expectations, a subtle, poignant reminder that even an immortal icon cannot control the harsh market rules. Cara Delevingne's Studio City Mansion. The Studio City home of model and actress Cara Delevingne was once a Hollywood focal point for its eccentric, unique interiors, with plush velvet furniture, a wild, jungle-themed bar, and even a massive dressing room. It was a living work of art reflecting Cara's strong personality. But after a devastating fire in March 2024 mercilessly ravaged the property, the mansion became uninhabitable and has been abandoned ever since, a scorched ghost of its former beauty. Though Delevingne has completely given up on the house, its scorched remains are still listed for nearly $7 million, despite needing a complete rebuild from the ashes. Real estate experts didn't hesitate to call this price delusional, given its current condition. Potential buyers were deterred not only by the horrific damage, but also by its peculiar, highly personalized layout, making redesign incredibly difficult and expensive. For months, the house remained empty, attracting curious onlookers but no serious offers. Surrounded by caution tape and smoke damage, it became a tragic symbol of sudden collapse. Even with Cara attempting to reduce the price, the mansion remained stuck, burnt out, abandoned, and utterly unmarketable, a painful scar in her real estate career. Mike Tyson's abandoned mansion. Mike Tyson, the legendary former heavyweight boxing champion, once owned a vast estate in Southington, Ohio, a truly opulent palace. This 25,000 square feet property boasted a sparkling pool, a unique tiger cage, and a massive indoor basketball court. But after Tyson filed for bankruptcy in 2003, the mansion was abandoned and sadly decaying. For years it stood empty, ravaged by mold, water damage, and relentless vandalism. Potential buyers were deterred by its peculiar layout, sky-high maintenance costs, and Tyson's controversial history, turning it into a forgotten relic. In 2002, Mike Tyson also invested in another mansion in Connecticut, a 50,000 square feet property with 18 bedrooms, an indoor pool, a private nightclub, and a grand basketball court. Despite such extreme luxury, it was still difficult to sell due to being overly personalized, unsuitable for the tastes of the general public. In 2003, rapper 50 Cent acquired this Connecticut mansion for $4.1 million. However, it quickly became a tremendous burden for him due to its colossal size and estimated maintenance costs of up to $70,000 per month, a staggering sum. 50 Cent listed it for $18.5 million in 2007 and ultimately sold it for just $2.9 million in 2019, an 84% reduction from his initial asking price. This story truly shows that even the grandest mansions can quickly become an unimaginable financial burden and difficult to sell if they are too personalized or their maintenance costs are astronomical, devouring even the greatest fortunes. Hookend Manor of David Gilmore, Pink Floyd. And David Gilmore of Pink Floyd also owned a peculiar mansion in the English countryside, Hookend Manor, which was once a legendary recording studio where many great albums by artists like The Cure and Marillion were created. It was a place steeped in glorious musical memories, but when Gilmore sold it, the mansion was neglected under various owners, slowly fading into oblivion. For years it stood abandoned, its control room destroyed, windows shattered, and once luxurious interiors now just pathetic ruins. Despite its rich, evocative rock history and allure, the property proved incredibly difficult to sell. Its remote location, sky-high maintenance costs, and now haunting reputation have kept buyers away, as if avoiding a curse. Urban explorers have documented the rotting interior, walls covered in grey-green mold, a piano left to decay, and wild ivy consuming the entire estate, creating an eerie scene. Even with drastic price cuts and efforts to revive its musical legacy, Hookend Manor remains stuck in the past, abandoned, unsellable, and forever linked to the fading echoes of rock and roll, a sad symphony of decay. Should these abandoned celebrity mansions be demolished if they can't find a buyer? Yes or no? Comment below with your vote. Britney Spears' Thousand Oaks Mansion. Britney Spears' once beautiful mansion in Thousand Oaks is now a fading symbol of her turbulent, tumultuous journey. She bought it in 2015 for $7.4 million, a significant investment. In 2019, she moved out when her father became seriously ill. Aerial photos clearly show signs of neglect during her absence. Lifeless toys floating in the pool, rotting couch cushions baking in the sun, and parched, burnt grass, a heartbreaking scene of decay. Despite its prime location and celebrity provenance, the house lost its intrinsic appeal. Sky-high maintenance costs and its close link to her public, painful personal struggles made it a difficult sell, carrying an emotional burden. In 2022, the villa was listed for $7.9 million, but no buyer emerged, as if an unseen force held them back. Sources also say she plans to return to this mansion. Will that help it find a new owner? Sher's Malibu Mansion. Perched proudly on a Malibu cliff, Sher's Renaissance-inspired mansion is a breathtaking masterpiece, a true work of art. But despite its beauty, it remains unsold, an ironic paradox. Purchased in 1989 for nearly $3 million, this 1.73-acre estate exudes luxurious Italianate villa style, with spectacular sweeping views of the vast Pacific Ocean. Sher's unique personalization elevated the home to an unparalleled level of sophistication. The primary suite includes a serene meditation room and two colossal walk-in closets, one of which even serves as a secret safe room. A home theatre and indoor-outdoor gym add modern amenities, while a climate-controlled wig room housing around 100 of Cher's legendary wigs is a whimsical, one-of-a-kind touch. Recently relisted for $75 million, a $10 million drop from its initial $85 million price, this estate reflects the steep challenges of selling ultra-luxury properties in a fiercely competitive market, where even a masterpiece can be forgotten. Boris Becker's Villa Son Coll in Mallorca. Boris Becker's once glorious Mallorca estate is now a ruined reminder of his catastrophic financial downfall. The former tennis champion acquired the property in 1997 for $598,000 and invested heavily in renovations, adding a unique Moroccan-style house, a comfortable guest house, a basketball court, horse stables, an outdoor pool, and even a private tennis court. However, what began as a dream property soon became an inescapable financial nightmare. In 2004, Becker was fined $255,000 for illegal construction and ordered to demolish parts of it. By 2007, he listed the property for $18.4 million, but no buyer emerged, as if it were haunted by a ghost of failure. As his financial situation worsened, Becker faced not only massive debt, but was also sued by his own gardener for unpaid wages. By 2017, he officially declared bankruptcy, and as a fatal blow, in April 2022, Boris Becker was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for concealing assets during bankruptcy, including Villa Son Coll. During that time, the villa was completely neglected, becoming a refuge for illegal squatters, led by a self-proclaimed king of squatters, Georg Beres. They lived in rooms that once hosted heads of state, slept on marble floors amid layers of dusty mold, and gardened in plots once meticulously cared for by professional teams. Today, Villa Son Coll is no longer a resort, but a desolate testament to faded glory where the wind blowing through its cold stone corridors carries not only Mallorca dust, but also the echoing question: Kanye West's Hollywood Hills mansion. Once a symbol of opulence and excess, this three-story Los Angeles mansion is now unsellable, a relic of Kanye West's past, a reminder of changing times and tastes. In stark contrast to the minimalist architecture he later embraced, this house is filled with intricate ornamentation, lavish chandeliers, and classic design elements that no longer align with his evolving aesthetic, like an outdated garment. Despite its undeniable luxury, with a private theatre, a modern gym, and vast entertaining spaces, the mansion never attracted the right buyer. Locational challenges and stylistic incongruity made it an anomaly in West's portfolio, turning away those who appreciated his avant-garde aesthetic. Even after significant price reductions, interest remained low, leaving the property in an uncertain state, a monument to a bygone style. If you enjoyed this video, comment your country below. It's great to see our international community growing. Thanks for your support. Jason Derulo's Coconut Creek. The luxury real estate market in Florida proved challenging for Jason Derulo with his Coconut Creek mansion. Despite its sleek modern design, expansive pool, and private gym, this property lingered on the market far longer than expected, a puzzling fact for a celebrity estate. He purchased it in 2009 for $1.75 million. In 2015, Derulo decided to sell the property, listing it for $2.9 million. He had added personal touches, including a mirrored dance studio and a fully equipped recording studio in the guest house, making it a very private space. The mansion's failure to sell wasn't due to neglect or damage. In fact, it was too well maintained, an irony of fate. Situated in a fiercely competitive luxury market, it faced intense competition from similar opulent properties. Ultimately, he sold it in 2016 for $1.9 million. A small profit compared to the initial purchase price, but far below his initial asking price, a reminder that sometimes even perfection isn't always enough to conquer the market. Mohammed Hadid's Starship Enterprise Mansion. Some mansions are renowned for their ultimate luxury, while others are known for their catastrophic downfall. Mohammed Hadid's unfortunate Bel Air mega mansion, once planned to be a record-breaking estate, transformed into a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition. Perilously perched on a hillside, this colossal structure violated several serious building code regulations, exceeding size limits and raising severe safety concerns. Initially, the plan was to build a 14,000 square feet mansion, but the property ballooned far beyond permissible levels when officials intervened. The house swelled to 30,000 square feet across all levels, an unacceptable expansion. The city revoked Hadid's building permits and issued immediate stop work orders. Neighbors, deeply concerned about the structural safety of the unfinished project, feared it might collapse and began mockingly calling this colossal house the Starship Enterprise, an ironic nickname. Ultimately, the court ruled against Hadid, ordering partial demolition of the mansion. Despite its prime location, the stigma surrounding the project made it nearly impossible to sell, a symbol of failure and blind ambition. Aleister Crowley's Boleskine House. Some mansions are simply abandoned, but Boleskine House is different. It was abandoned in fear and haunting. Located on a hillside overlooking the dark waters of Loch Ness, Boleskine is not just a house, it is a living legend. It was once the retreat of the notorious occultist Aleister Crowley, who called himself the Great Beast 666, and came to Boleskine in 1899 to perform perilous magical rituals based on the Abramelin system. The rituals, which lasted for months and which Crowley never completed, are believed to have opened doors to supernatural forces, but never closed them, leaving a spiritually contaminated space. Locals recount tales of animal disappearances, strange cries at midnight, and a sense of heavy air around the house, even on sunny days. After Crowley's death, the house was acquired by Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin's lead guitarist, who was obsessed with occult symbols and the place's history. Though Page rarely stayed long, he kept the original design, even renovating the interior to match its Crowley legacy. Subsequent tenants continued to report unexplained metaphysical events, from moving objects and flashing lights to an eerie feeling of being watched. Tragedy struck when two fires, in 2015 and 2019, consumed nearly the entire mansion. Only scorched frames, crumbling masonry and shattered windows remain, as if an otherworldly realm had swallowed every trace. However, the strangest thing is, the place still exists. In 2019, a charity called the Boleskine House Foundation acquired the ruins, with the ambition of rebuilding the entire estate, transforming it into a cultural, historical, and spiritual centre open to the public. They received over £250,000 from the National Heritage Lottery Fund, and restoration is expected to be completed by 2025. Aaron Spelling's Manor. Aaron Spelling's The Manor in Holmby Hills, Los Angeles, is one of the largest homes in Los Angeles, with 56,500 square feet and 123 rooms, including a beauty salon, movie theater, bowling alley, and a doll museum. An unimaginable opulence, like a miniature city. After Spelling's death in 2006, his wife Candy Spelling decided to sell this colossal house. However, finding a buyer for such a gigantic and specialized property became a real challenge. The annual cost just to maintain the place was enormous, not to mention needing a large staff to manage its various features. It was initially listed at a staggering asking price of $150 million. Despite its glamour and unique features, this mansion did not sell quickly. Ultimately, in 2011, it was sold to British heiress Petra Ecclestone for $85 million, significantly less than its initial asking price, a testament that gigantic size can sometimes be its biggest barrier. Kenny Rogers Manor. Kenny Rogers, the legendary country singer, once owned a splendid estate outside Atlanta, Georgia, a place he himself called his little paradise, separate from the hurried pace of life. On its over 15,000 square feet grounds, this property boasted every imaginable luxury: a private guest house, a mini golf course, horse stables, a lavish pool, and a mansion designed like a southern castle. However, the seemingly impossible happened: a property belonging to a country music legend. No one wanted to buy it. Although once valued at over $8 million, the villa languished on the market for years. Unsold due to its secluded location, sky-high maintenance costs, and classical architectural style that no longer suited modern tastes. After being acquired by a new owner, the villa fell into the hands of a wealthy family, but then it was dragged into a legal vortex. entangled in millions of dollars in tax debt and investigated by the FBI. The house suddenly became a venue for wild parties, even appearing in rap music videos by Offset and 21 Savage. In just 17 months, police had to intervene over 100 times due to noise and illegal activities. After local authorities ordered all activities ceased, the mansion fell into a state of complete abandonment. The pool became algae-filled, the gardens overgrown, magnificent chandeliers covered in dust, and the living room silent as if sealed by time. Once the hallmark of a music empire, the house is now merely an empty, chilling shell. Today, it is valued at around $600,000, almost solely for its land value, a price unworthy of the history and memories it carries. This is not just the decay of a property, but a sad symbol of an era's decline where music once echoed within white stone walls, now only sighing winds resound. Pete Burns, the legendary voice behind the hit You Spin Me Round Like a Record, was once a unique icon in British pop music. With captivating wild hair, rebellious eyes, and an unconventional fashion sense, Pete was the soul of the band, dead or alive, and the embodiment of audacity and creativity. But it was this very desire to be different that led him down a path of extensive physical transformation, undertaken despite risks and pain. Starting with minor nose jobs, Pete soon became caught in an endless spiral of plastic surgery. He injected his lips, cheeks, had eyelid lifts, jawline adjustments, hair transplants, breast implants, and even experimented with unproven methods. The result was a distinctly altered face with significantly augmented lips, taut skin, and a distant gaze. A severe complication from a lip injection forced Pete to undergo over 300 corrective surgeries in desperation. He described the feeling then as if he was rotting away every day. Pete once declared that he was an artist using his own body as material, but the truth was much harsher. The more he altered, the more he couldn't stop. The more he invested, the more alien his appearance became. By the end of his life, Pete no longer resembled the charming man the public once loved. He became a drastically altered figure, resembling a stylized, almost sculptural appearance. Pete Burns' story is a poignant narrative in the world of the wealthy, illustrating the profound transformations that can occur when pursuing extreme cosmetic changes. Amanda Lepore. Amanda Lepore is not just an icon in New York's underground fashion scene. She is a living testament to extreme aesthetic culture, a prominent figure who transformed herself to resemble an adult doll. Born male, Amanda soon knew she was different and was willing to do anything to live as her true self. At 17, she underwent her first gender confirmation surgery, initiating decades of immersion in cosmetic procedures, with the sole goal to become a highly stylized, vibrant, and artificial version, resembling a character stepping out of a comic book. With abundant financial resources from advertising contracts, performances, and television appearances, Amanda began to build her image with colossal breasts, a tightly cinched waist, prominently augmented lips, and exceptionally taut eyes. Every part of her body was altered to an extreme degree, from her chin, cheeks, forehead, to her nasal bone, breasts, waist, and even her hair and skin color were manipulated to maintain a surreal, permanently doll-like style. Amanda Lepore never hid her past. On the contrary, she proudly declared herself the most altered face in America. But perhaps that very fact also makes her a symbol of an era obsessed with artificial beauty, where beauty is no longer something natural but a product of technology, needles, and surgery. With her distinct smile and taut eyes, Amanda is no longer an ordinary person. She is a living artwork, but also a clear illustration of the profound changes that extensive cosmetic procedures can lead to. Fulvia Pelino. If you happen to walk past a 56-year-old Italian woman named Fulvia Pelino on the street, you might think you just passed a gorgeous figure with a strikingly altered appearance, reminiscent of a doll, but if you looked closely at Fulvia on her wedding day, you would hardly recognize her in the crowd. I forgot to mention, you might recognize her by the tie she wore, a small but deeply symbolic detail. If you still haven't figured it out, Fulvia, formerly known as Fulvio, is a transgender woman. Fulvia realized she was born in the wrong body at age 15, but she knew that people in her small town of Pescara, especially her very religious family, would never understand or accept. So Fulvia kept her true identity a secret and decided to live as a man. She met her wife, Marissa, and they built a family together, a perfect facade for a deep secret. By day, Fulvia exhibited hypermasculinity, owning a collection of guns and expensive cars to hide her true self. But at night, she often frequented gay bars and even wore women's clothes in the safety of her garage, where she could truly be herself. However, about 20 years ago, Fulvia decided she could no longer hide her true self. She bravely told her wife, Marissa, that she planned to transition, and after the initial shock, Marissa decided to stay by her side, becoming her strongest support. Though Fulvia once ran a restaurant, she no longer works, and the couple now lives on Marissa's meager income as a holistic therapist. But Fulvia knew their income wasn't enough to fund expensive surgeries, so she sold her guns, cars, old restaurant, and even a house in France to pay for her procedures. With Marissa's boundless support, Fulvia spent nearly $80,000 on her transition, including treatments like $150 lip and cheek fillers, 4 breast augmentations, 2 liposuction procedures, skin removal surgery, and laser hair removal, along with a $30,000 butt lift. However, Fulvia is still not satisfied and has many more surgeries planned, including full gender confirmation surgery. Unfortunately, some of her surgeries didn't go as expected, such as one that left her belly button 6 inches lower than normal and another that made her lips appear unusually large and altered. Sadly, Fulvia has been estranged from her family, and she and Marissa face alienation in their town. Despite losing everything, they still have each other, and that is what matters most. Pixie Fox. Many women crave an hourglass figure, but what does that truly mean? Ask model and former electrician Pixie Fox, who spent over $125,000 on surgeries to transform herself from an ordinary woman into a figure resembling a cartoon character. This 31-year-old Swedish woman always yearned to look like her favorite cartoon characters, from Ariel to Jessica Rabbit, and she spared nothing to achieve that goal. To date, Pixie has undergone over 200 different plastic surgeries, including a nose job, eyelid surgery, brow lift, lip and cheek injections, 4 breast augmentations, and a Brazilian butt lift. Pixie also had permanent makeup, an aesthetic technique that involves tattooing the face with makeup-like designs, such as eyeliner and highlighting cheek and lip colors, creating a distinctly artificial appearance. But that's not the most extreme procedure Pixie underwent to reach her goal. Of course, cartoon characters are known for their unrealistic body proportions, but one thing stood in Pixie's way: her ribs. So in 2015, she made a shocking decision: surgery to remove 6 ribs to shrink her waist to the smallest possible size. She described this surgery as a dream come true, but also admitted it was a procedure not many doctors in the US dared to perform. Pixie, who wore a corset 24 hours a day, now boasts a 16-inch waist and hopes to break the world record of 15 inches. But that's not all. She also had nose and ear reshaping to achieve a more cartoonish look, and even traveled to South Korea in 2017 for jawline contouring and a more pointed chin. A year earlier, in 2016, Pixie caused a stir when she underwent a dangerous surgery to permanently implant eye implants. This procedure, usually performed only to correct abnormalities, was done in New Delhi, India, costing about $5,600, and permanently changed her eye color from blue to a magical green, as if stepping out of a cartoon. Pixie has appeared in countless magazines, over 180 newspapers, and on television channels in 42 different countries, and it seems the media's obsession with her beauty journey has been enough to fund it all. Enjoying this video? Like and subscribe for more. Not feeling it? A like would still be appreciated, and your comments will help me do better next time. Sahar Tabar. Sahar Tabar, a 22-year-old Iranian influencer, chose a living person as her role model, Hollywood icon Angelina Jolie. However, if she thinks Jolie looks like this, then she might need an eye exam. In reality, her altered appearance led to her being referred to as Zombie Angelina Jolie. Previously, Sahar, whose real name is Fatemeh Kishvand, was just a normal teenager, but by 2017, she had garnered hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram after posting distinctive images of her altered appearance. As you can see, Sahar seemed to have used a lot of Photoshop to alter her look, which explains the upturned nose, super skinny body, and unique skin texture we see in her photos. She also wore colored contact lenses and cheek piercings to accentuate her style. However, it's undeniable that some surgical interventions also took place. While she doesn't look as extreme in videos posted on social media, it's clear Sahar underwent a major transformation compared to her fresh-faced teenage self. Her nose appears smaller, her cheeks hollowed, and her lips significantly plumper, suggesting she may have had rhinoplasty, liposuction, and lip and cheek fillers. Unfortunately, we may never know more about Sahar Tabar's personal life or how she afforded her plastic surgeries, because she was arrested in Iran in October 2019. Sahar was charged with corrupting the youth, blasphemy, inciting violence, and earning money through inappropriate means. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison and is said to have called on Angelina Jolie to campaign for her release. Sahar's Instagram account was also deleted after her arrest, so we may never hear any more news from this young woman, leaving a big question mark about the fate of a woman obsessed with artificial beauty. Justin Jedlicka. If Valyria Lucanova is a flesh-and-blood Barbie doll, then Justin Jedlicka is the perfect Ken. Indeed, if he stood in a store pretending to be a mannequin, you probably wouldn't even notice. Justin, now 40, was born in New York in 1980. From a young age, he was obsessed with the idea of plastic surgery, after watching the reality TV show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. For Justin, surgery was not just a means to change his appearance, but also a symbol of the wealth and luxurious lifestyle he craved. Unfortunately, his parents did not support surgical intervention to enhance beauty, so he was forced to wait until he was old enough to begin his transformation journey. Just 4 days after his 18th birthday, Justin underwent his first rhinoplasty, and from that moment, everything became history, marking the beginning of a long series of makeovers. By 2012, Justin had undergone approximately 190 plastic surgeries, including rhinoplasty, chest implants, shoulder and arm implants, brow lifts, cheek implants, and countless different liposuction procedures. Since then, rumors have circulated that Justin has had over 1,000 different surgeries, with some speculating he is nearly 99.9% plastic at this point. Although Justin did not come from a particularly wealthy family, he was once married to a successful businessman, and the couple lived in Trump Tower before divorcing in 2016. This may explain how he was able to continue fueling his pursuit of artificial beauty. At one point, Justin claimed to have spent about $600,000 on surgeries and treatments. Today, Justin is living in Australia and is proud of his polyamorous relationships. This is certainly a more modern take on the Barbie and Ken story many grew up with. Donatella Versace. As the heir to the Versace fashion empire after her brother Gianni's sudden death, Donatella stepped into the center of the fashion world with immense power and wealth. With a net worth of over $200 million, she not only held the renowned Italian fashion empire, but also considered herself a living embodiment of beauty, a high fashion icon. Yet it was this very obsession with ageless beauty that transformed Donatella into a symbol of what scalpels can destroy. As early as the 2000s, the public began to notice distinct changes in Donatella's face. Her lips were significantly altered, her nose unnaturally small, her skin taut to the point of almost no movement. Every feature on her face bore the mark of plastic surgery. In stark contrast to the luxurious, sophisticated designs Versace produced, Donatella's appearance evoked a drastically altered appearance. Despite facing countless criticisms and ridicule, Donatella never showed regret. She boldly stated, "I don't want to look natural. I want to look spectacular." But what the fashion world whispered behind the scenes was a different story. That this powerful woman had lost the softness and allure she once possessed, replaced by a significantly altered, taut appearance. Today, every time Donatella steps onto the red carpet, the whole world looks not just for her fame, but for the visual impact her face brings. Donatella Versace, from a fashion icon, unintentionally became a living symbol of the profound changes that extensive cosmetic procedures can lead to. On a scale of 0 to 5, how extreme do you think Donatella Versace's obsession with beauty has become? Drop your rating in the comments to let us know. Detox Matthew Sanderson. Matthew Sanderson, widely known by his stage name Detox, is no stranger to avid fans of RuPaul's Drag Race. He is a globally renowned drag queen, having left a profound mark on audiences by placing 4th in Season 5 and later becoming the runner-up in All Stars 2. Though he never touched the coveted crown, Detox is undeniably one of the drag queens who underwent the most dramatic and astonishing physical makeover in the show's history. Detox's career soared with vibrant performances in nightclubs in the early 2000s, propelling his name so far that he appeared in music videos for A-list superstars like Rihanna and K-Dollar. He painstakingly built his own empire, even gracing the cover of New York Magazine in 2019 and securing the 14th spot on the list of America's 100 most powerful drag queens. Of course, when shedding the thick makeup and elaborate wigs, Sanderson returns to a completely different person. But what's truly shocking is that Matthew Sanderson himself, the real man behind Detox's glamorous facade, also underwent a dramatic physical transformation. From a scrawny, beanpole thin boy, he discovered the world of plastic surgery at age 17, right after attending his first drag show. Recalling that fateful moment, Sanderson once exclaimed, "My whole life I was always thin, frail, and I realized I could have a beautiful body by injecting silicone." And he turned those words into reality. While the exact number of surgeries that shaped Detox's appearance remains a mystery, Sanderson openly shared that he injected gallons of silicone into his body, including his hips, chest, shoulders, and buttocks. The climax of this story came in 2018 when Detox made headlines after a perfect six-pack abdominal etching surgery failed miserably. Instead of the toned abs he desired, his stomach became bumpy and uneven, looking truly disgusting. After that tragedy, Detox had to appear on the TV show Botched, pleading with renowned surgeons to fix his embarrassing stomach. Nanette Hammond. Nanette Hammond, a 45-year-old mother of 5 from Cincinnati, truly lives by the legendary quote from Mean Girls, "I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom." For Nanette, looking normal was simply not an option. Instead, she embarked on a journey to transform herself to look exactly like a Barbie doll, a unique and bold dream. Since she was a little girl, Hammond was captivated by Barbie dolls, and that passion ignited in her an intense craving to become a real-life Barbie. To date, she has poured nearly $500,000 into this metamorphosis, and there seems to be no sign of stopping. Her plastic surgery journey began at age 21, right after she started dyeing her signature platinum blonde hair. Her first breast augmentation cost her $3,000, and from then on, Botox injections and collagen lip fillers became an indispensable ritual in her life. Turning 30, Nanette truly began spending money without hesitation. She spent about $1,700 for hair extensions and dyeing, $140 per month for tanning sessions, $350 for manicures and pedicures, and $490 for eyelash extensions, figures that are truly staggering. With an extremely slender physique, Nanette had to have custom-made clothes, costing an additional $280 per month. But that's not all. At 38, she underwent another breast augmentation, increasing her bust size to 28H, a surgery worth $9,800. In addition, she spent $5,800 on dental veneers to achieve a perfect smile as if stepping out of a cartoon. Surprisingly, all these colossal expenses were covered by her husband, Dave. To complete her Barbie dream, Nanette even owns 3 custom Barbie cars, totaling $247,000, all also purchased by Dave. Nanette has no regrets about her lavish lifestyle and always loves the idea that she will maintain her Barbie look even in old age. When asked about her children's feelings, Nanette proudly shared, "They're just proud of me and what I've achieved through surgery." A response that highlights her family's support for her choices. Have you ever heard of any of these rich celebrities who went this far with plastic surgery? Comment yes if you have, or no if this is your first time discovering their shocking transformations. Joselyn Wildenstein. Joselyn Wildenstein, a name once synonymous with high society, has now become a distinctly altered appearance. If you were to place today's Joselyn next to her youthful image, it would be difficult to believe they were the same woman. Her face, once elegant, now looks like an unrecognizably altered appearance, drastically changed, sending shivers down the spine. Born in Lucerne, Switzerland in 1945, Joselyn was not only a familiar face in Parisian aristocracy, but also a skilled hunter and pilot. Her life took a dramatic turn when she met Alec Wildenstein, a powerful art billionaire. They married and had 2 children, building an seemingly unshakable empire. However, that perfect picture shattered when Joselyn discovered her husband's affair with a young Russian model, only 19 years old. Their 1999 divorce became a media frenzy, exposing deep cracks in what seemed like a blissful marriage. In desperation and a fervent desire to hold on to her man, Joselyn conceived an ambitious idea. If her husband loved hunting big cats, she decided to undergo extensive transformations, hoping to recapture his gaze. After the tumultuous Martina Big. Martina Big, 32, was born in a town in western Germany near Luxembourg in 1988 and began her career as a flight attendant after high school. Martina met her husband Michael, a pilot, through work, but she stopped working in 2012 to pursue a full-time career as a model and actress. At that time, it's safe to say Martina looked quite different from the image we know of her today, a stunning contrast. Martina underwent her first breast augmentation in 2012 with inflatable implants. Since then, she has had 23 more surgeries to increase her bust size, reaching a significantly large bra size. To put that into perspective, each of Martina's breasts now contains an implant, nearly 10 times the size of a D-cup implant, which she inflates with a saline pump. Martina also underwent procedures to significantly darken her skin color. She claims this change, alongside experimental skin darkening injections, led her to a realization about her identity. In 2019, Martina announced she was baptized in Kenya by a Kenyan pastor, adopting the name Malika Kua, meaning great angel in Swahili. She maintains that she is truly an African woman at heart and continues to pursue this identity, despite considerable public criticism. Her transformation sparked widespread public debate over the boundaries of beauty and identity. Janice Dickinson. Janice Dickinson was once hailed as the world's first supermodel, an unofficial yet well-deserved title for her unmistakable beauty and charisma in the 70s and 80s. With piercing eyes, perfect cheekbones, and an unparalleled demeanor, Janice not only dominated fashion runways, but also served as a muse for legendary photographers. However, as age began to leave its mark, Janice refused to back down. She had money, power, and most importantly, a fear of being forgotten to tightly cling to her youth. Janice began a continuous cycle of Botox, fillers, facelifts, breast augmentations, nose jobs, liposuction, everything money could buy. But what money couldn't buy was the naturalness she had lost. Her once sharp face now became waxy and taut, lacking expression, and increasingly alien to her own fans. Ironically, the woman who once coached hundreds of young girls on America's Next Top Model about self-confidence and individuality transformed herself into an extensively altered appearance. Janice once appeared on the show Botched, where she publicly admitted her mistakes and pleaded with doctors to fix the devastating consequences. "I just wanted to hold on to my youth," she said in a moment of bitter honesty. But perhaps what audiences remember most about Janice isn't her plump lips or altered eyelids, but the price her obsession with beauty made her pay. A beauty icon now stands as a living symbol for the significant question: can one be too rich to realize they've gone too far? Valyria Lucanova. Valyria Lucanova, a 35-year-old Ukrainian model, possesses a striking beauty, making anyone who sees her exclaim that she looks exactly like a flesh-and-blood Barbie doll. With mesmerizing icy blue eyes, straight platinum blonde hair, and distinctly artificial body proportions, it's hard to believe Valyria isn't a product of some doll factory. This living doll grew up in Tiraspol, a gloomy city in Moldova, Europe's poorest country. In her youth, Valyria was a rebellious girl with a distinctive Gothic style. But when she was 16 and moved to Odessa, southern Ukraine, her life took a new turn. After getting a few small modeling contracts, Valyria first dyed her hair platinum blonde and met a wealthy construction magnate named Dmitry. By then, Valyria had mastered the art of makeup and increasingly dramatic hairstyling. But with Dmitry's financial backing, her transformation truly accelerated. Today, her waist is exceptionally tiny, and her body proportions are almost unlike a normal person's. If you want to know exactly what procedures helped Valyria achieve this look, you'll be hard-pressed to hear the truth from her own mouth. She only admits to breast augmentation. Otherwise, she insists that her appearance is the result of makeup, daily exercise, and a special diet. In 2014, she even claimed to have joined a strange cult called breatharianism, training herself to live solely on light and air. However, she quickly realized this was unsustainable. Thanks to her surreal appearance, Valyria has become a highly influential figure, even having real-life followers such as YouTuber Anastasia Shpagina, who attempted to recreate her look with clever makeup techniques. While the beauty of this real-life Barbie might cause some unease for certain people, at least we can breathe a sigh of relief that she didn't choose the terrifying Chucky doll as her role model. Jessica Alves. Jessica Alves, a 36-year-old Brazilian-British television personality and former flight attendant, is living proof that a passion for cosmetic surgery can push humans to the wildest imaginable limits. This figure, known for her extensive cosmetic journey, was born Rodrigo Alves in São Paulo on July 30th, 1983, to a Brazilian mother and an English father. From a young age, her grandfather bought her Barbie dolls and allowed her to dress however she pleased. However, Alves never felt happy with her body growing up, and bullying about her appearance ignited in her a dedication to achieving a specific aesthetic, one inspired by dolls. At just 19, Alves underwent her first nose surgery, opening a new mesmerizing door to the possibility of physical alteration. But the doll-like figure she wanted to emulate then wasn't Barbie, it was Ken. Always living with body insecurity, Alves decided to transform herself into the ideal male physique, rippling muscles, a chiseled six-pack, and sharp cheekbones. Of course, all these changes were the product of cosmetic surgery. In total, Alves underwent 103 surgeries costing over $500,000 while still in her Ken form. These procedures included hair implants, brow lifts, eyelid lifts, ear reduction, cheek implants, and filler injections into her shoulders, arms, and even her stomach to create perfect six-pack abs. However, in early 2019, Alves began to confront a truth she had hidden for so long. She is transgender. The image she craved now was no longer Ken, but Barbie. A year later, Alves publicly transitioned, changed her name, and officially debuted with her new look. Her transformation sparked widespread public debate over the boundaries of beauty and identity. Now, Alves appears with shimmering blonde hair, a slender and alluring waist, plump lips, and a full bust. She spent an additional $130,000 on female gender confirmation surgeries, including six-pack removal, breast augmentation, Adam's apple reduction, jawline contouring, face and eye lifts, liposuction, and Botox injections. The colossal financial resources for these surgeries came from her family's chain of grocery stores in Brazil, a massive fortune that made them very wealthy. Additionally, Alves inherited several properties in Marbella, Spain, which she rents out to tourists. Not stopping there, she also became a television personality, continuously appearing on reality shows like Celebrity Big Brother UK. Despite already possessing an astonishingly striking appearance, Alves still has many plastic surgery plans for the future, including full gender confirmation surgery. For Alves, true happiness is the continuous investment in transforming herself. These abandoned celebrity mansions aren't just crumbling buildings, they're shattered dreams wrapped in marble and gold. Once symbols of unstoppable success, now they echo with silence, regret, and the eerie passage of time. Fame fades, fortunes shift, and even the grandest halls can become ghost towns. What does it all mean? Maybe it's a warning that luxury doesn't last forever, and the spotlight eventually burns out. If these haunting stories gripped you, smash that like button, subscribe to Iconic Inside, and ring the bell so you never miss a peek behind Hollywood's glittering curtain. And if you think this was wild, wait until you see our last video. Trust us, it'll leave your jaw on the floor. Why no one wants to buy Michael Jackson's abandoned Neverland Ranch.